Today in history, December 10th, 1869. Wyoming was the first state to, well, it wasn't a state, it was a territory. It was the first in the United States to give women the right to vote. Now, they weren't motivated by equality and, the suffrage movement and the plight of women. No, they were lonely. These were some lonely men out there in, in Wyoming. It was about 6 to 1. There was about 6,000 adult men in the territory and 1,000 adult women. So yeah, they were trying to get the ladies. They wanted it to be, we need ladies. And they also thought, free publicity. We'll give them the right to vote, and the rest of the world will be like, we want to go to Wyoming. Women are gonna come, and the men are gonna follow. It was a ploy. They thought this would be a good way to bolster the conservative voting bloc. We'll get women in, they'll get married, and they'll all vote conservative, as they assumed everyone did. Now, Wyoming was the first territory, but this was something of a not a fad, but this was what the Western states were doing. They were trying to lure people, California, Oregon, Washington State. They were trying to look Colorado. They were trying to lure people out to, because it wasn't easy to get out there. But if you were promised a few more rights, whatever, that I can see the lure. I can see that. So that was what they were trying to do. Now, Wyoming, because it was the first, it has that special place in history. It was the bill was drawn up by William Bright, who was encouraged by his wife. His wife told him it was a great injustice to women. Other men argued that he thought it was unfair that his mother did not have the right to vote, but African American men did. Now, it was a while. It was actually about 51 years before the entire United States would give women the right to vote in 1920. It was not easy. These men that were going to protect women, and they were so worried about women, when they would be picked up for the suffrage movement out in D.C., and they were taken to prison and they were taken to jail. They were beaten, starved, put in isolation by the jailers, simply because they were women. And how dare they want to have some kind of say so? Alice Paul was a woman. She was one of the front people, trying to really push for women's rights. And when she was in prison, she was thrown into isolation and solitary confinement. And but what this did there, because they were trying to break her, of course, but what this did was it shined the light on how these women what they were enduring and willing to go through to just freaking vote. That's all they wanted. They just wanted to vote. They wanted to have some say so in where they lived. So eventually, Woodrow Wilson came out in 1919, and he said, yeah, because this would be a good idea. This would be a wonderful idea to have our ladies voting with us. And so, and then in 1920, it was signed into the 19th Amendment. Now, 1920, women gained the right to vote. It was 4 years later that Native Americans, men and women, got the right to vote. And it would be another 30 years before Asian Americans were given the same equality. So Wyoming today is the least populous state. It is the 10th largest state, but it is still the least populous state. So maybe that didn't work out. It maybe worked out for the rest of us. We can go vote on that. But thank you, Wyoming, for getting the ball rolling on that. Whatever your reasons were, we don't care what your motives were. We don't. You're okay. My name is Michelle. I like to get on here and I like history. So that's what we do. I like history. I like to show off my coffee cups, and I like to drink the coffee and discuss the history of the world. And that over there is, if you want to say, thank you, Wyoming. If you love Wyoming, know someone who lives in Wyoming, whatever. Those are all Wyoming paraphernalia. So enjoy. Have a wonderful day. I hope your coffee's hot, and stay safe, my friends.